All right. So all these screens here say that they were recording. So there we go. All right, so hopefully you can hear me now. I'll try not to shout too loudly. I've got a microphone here. And it says that it's working there. I've got a speaker in front of me, so hopefully this is all going to work out the way we were expecting it to. So this session, we're going to talk about DesignPlus and the multi-tool. Earlier this morning, we talked about the rich content editor. So this is that next step. Rich content editor allows in Canvas for you to create pages, assignments, discussions, announcements, all kinds of different things, and it uses the same tool all the way through. Well, when you're using that tool, sometimes you'd like it to look really nice. For instance, this page, it's got a nice banner on the top, it's got a picture, it's got things built in, and I spent a couple of seconds creating this. And I want to show you how to do that. So this is in addition to understanding how the rich content editor works. So we'll do a little bit of repeat, but for the most part, this is going to be about new parts to it. Understand the first part that I talk about, I'm going to walk you through how to create things from scratch, meaning you don't have a page already created that you're wanting to use. But give me a little bit, and then I will talk about how do you update your current pages, your current assignments and stuff like that as well. All right. But if I do it in the other order, it will just get confusing for me and for you. And so I don't want to do that. But DesignPlus is a tool that we use. We've used it for a couple of years now. I will call it a time suck. What does that mean? I love this tool. That's not a negative in that way. The problem is that you can get so wrapped up in, oh, but I can do it one step better, that you can spend hours and hours and hours building something, wipe it all out and start all over and over again. I know from personal experience, I've done that. All right. So my suggestion is not to do that, if at all possible, to work with it and start and then make changes for the next time, rather than make all of your changes and make it perfect this time, because you'll never get to perfection. All right. I know this. I'm nowhere near perfect. Just ask my wife and kids. But also, I took a class that I was designing, created 100 modules with this, took me a couple of hours to do, looked at it and realized, oh, if I just renamed it this way. So I deleted all 100 modules and recreated them and recreated 75 modules because I could do something else. And, and I literally spent 2 days recreating something that really I should have lived with the way I did it the first time. Okay. So just understand that's, by the way, to me, that's a compliment to them, is that they've created something that's so useful and so fun that you realize you've done that after the fact. So take it as a warning as well. So first of all, in your class, if you don't have something called multi-tool, go down to settings and then navigation. And you'll find multi-tool down below. You simply enable it and go down. And the most important thing you can do is hit save. Why do I say that? Because it's something that I keep forgetting to do when I'm in that screen, because I think, oh yeah, I'm done. And I move on. I shouldn't. So now that I've created it, put it in here, it's here on the left, and I can click on it. And multi-tool's got a couple of different features. We're really only going to look at the first two today. And we'll spend more time on the very first one, because that's going to be the most important. That is the template builder. And then we'll get into the module builder after that. So template builder, it literally is going to do exactly what it says, build templates. So if you take a look, first of all, you can create a front page from here. So Why would I want to do that now? Canvas or DesignPlus has templates built in. You can kind of create your own. I don't suggest it because they've spent a lot of time getting these really good. Plus, you can tweak everything that's in here. It's using our colors. So you're going to see lots of blue. All right. But that's because IVC, one of the main colors is blue. So you can create a home page. And I'm going to unset the home page for now. And I'm going to create a new home page. Actually, I'll pick this one. You can create a new home page there, but what I want to do is I want to open that page for editing. Now it opened in a new tab at the top. This is the page, the first page that I was showing you. And as you look at it, it's got certain elements. First of all, it says Begin Design Tools wrapper here at the top. I'm going to make this page bigger, this part bigger, by clicking on these 8 dots here and just dragging down, because I want to be able to edit it. I don't care about all the stuff underneath it. I want to be able to see what I'm working on. Notice Design Tools popped up here on the right. I'm going to change a setting. I'll change it back later. And I'm going to make it be basic for now. And you notice that there's only 3 options here at the top that I've got. Each of these options gives me different things that I can do. And the last one is the tools themselves, the tool itself. So here I can do some different components to this page. The first thing I want to do is I want to choose a theme. Okay. Now these are themes that they have created for us. Understand, you're looking for something that looks kind of like what you would like to use. Doesn't need to be exact. So for instance, this is the one that I'm using has got kind of a little medallion or a seal type of picture in the upper left and says, welcome to this course. Well, the welcome to this course is based on the name that I have typed in there. All right. So now as I move my mouse, I'm not clicking on anything. As I move my mouse through the different templates here on the right, you notice that they change, some of them slightly, some of them a lot. Okay, so here this is a basic one, basic color panel. Notice now instead of the navigation being on the bottom, the buttons, now they're on the left. It's using the same image, but we can swap out the image later. So don't worry about those things. So here's a color. And you see the apple, now it just says text. Okay, text will allow you to change it if you want. Here's bookmark. And there's just these different templates that are available. And it's 2 columns of these templates. Now, because I've already done this, it has a template here, the medallion template that it's using. So it's telling me this is the one you're already using, but I can go in and I can change it if I want. And notice as I move through this, it shows me what it would look like. So that's one of the things that's really nice about it is it does let you know, give you a clue what it's going to look like to begin with. The key is as you're creating this, you want to remember what you were using, okay? Because this is the homepage template. You're going to use the same theme for the rest of your class. So when you pick a template, and let's go with, this Apple One template. Notice it changed. Now, instead of the little medallion in the upper left, it's got an apple. It's got the pound signs there. So this can be your module or week number that you're going to put in there. So on your home page, it doesn't necessarily fit, but in this case, maybe it's the section number or the writing one, whatever it is that you're doing, you could put that up there. Something that means something to you or to your class. And that's what this is about. The whole thing, everything about this is how do I create it for useful parts of my class? So I can create this particular, I can use this template, put in text that I want. So earlier today, I was looking at adding in a tool, an app. So here my Connex Ed support card can be added in. All right. I can add a picture of me. And I'm just picking content that I've already got in the class that I've uploaded before. I can resize it. None of this has anything to do with DesignPlus.
Did you say you could choose our own background? Because on citizenship, I like it more patriotic.
So one of the nice things is I've just been working in the page itself. I haven't done anything to the template, to the images in the template yet. So here I like to click on what I'm working on. Mentally, it helps me know that this is what I'm doing. But here on the right, I have different options for what I want to create or what I want to do. And we're going to get into a lot more of these in a minute. But on your homepage specifically, one of the things you might want to do is choose a banner image. Now, we've got some institutional images, but you can also take images that you've loaded into your class. So for instance, if I wanted this one, okay, I could load that image in. And Blue is probably the only person who knows what that is. That is my less than 1 week old grandson, first grandson, first grandkid. All right. So yes, rather proud, but oh, number 6. All right. Yeah, no, our first grandchild was born on the 28th of December. So, you know, that does give you a little perspective, but you can see, you can swap things out. You can do whatever makes sense to you. As you take a look here under the images, they're naturally designed to be extra wide. I believe I don't think it's even a 16:9. I think there's another setting there, but you can actually, if you go into the banner image help here, gives you some information about how to do this. And so you can upload any image you want to your course and use that as that banner image. So for instance, I might want to take and have the banner image be this. So this is an image that I'm using in a different class. And so it allows you to pick and choose what you want, where you want to use it. But that's the home page. So if I now save this, I told it to set that to be the home page for the class. Now the home page of the class has exactly this that I just created. Okay, so I chose a template. I chose a theme. Okay, do we remember which one it was? It was the first Apple theme in the upper left. All right, I chose that theme. Now I've created the home page. I feel like I've accomplished something. Doesn't take a whole lot of work. I've talked for longer than it typically takes me to create a homepage. Going back to the multi-tool, we have this part down here called templates. So why would we have this thing called templates? I mean, this is the template builder. If you look, you can create assignments, discussions, pages, and quizzes, and you can create templates for these. So what does that mean? If you take and you create things the way you want them, then you can just reuse them over and over again. So for instance, I may have an assignment and I might just call it assignment. Okay. I might do a page. And I'm putting Apple in front because I'm going to show you what I did in for other templates as well. And let's say that I want to do an overview page for each module. Well, it'd be really nice for them all to look the same without me having to do a lot of work or copying or pasting or anything like that. I want to make this simple for myself. In the end, I view my job as to be making your life easier. Don't always succeed, but I always try. So I'm looking for those types of things. What's going to make it look good without you having to do a lot of work? So I'm going to go ahead and create that page, this Apple template overview page. You can create quizzes. When I talk about creating quizzes, you can actually create everything except the questions for the quiz. So say you're using Proctorio. Well, Proctorio has a certain set of instructions you might want to use. You can put those into a template. And so every time you create a quiz, you use that template, and now you have all those instructions that are the same. And now all you have to do is add in the stuff that's specific to that particular quiz. You don't have to retype it. You don't have to rethink about it. It's just built in for you. So why would that be so nice? Let me show you what this overview page looks like that I had created before. This is not the Apple overview. I'll show you that in a moment. And you look at this page. I'm going to close Design Tools for a moment. And you see that in this overview, I've created something, and it's got some stuff at the top. We'll deal with that in a minute. Then it's got lectures, resources, discussions, assignments, quizzes, modules. Wait a minute. Why would I put all of this stuff in an overview page? Well, I want to have a very consistent view for all of my assignments, for all of my modules. I might name them all week 1, week 2, week 3. All right. Well, for every one, I'm probably going to have a lecture or lecture information. I might have some other resources that I want to give them. I may have a discussion. I may have assignments, may have quizzes. If you build your template with all of these things in it, all you have to do when you decide, oh, I don't want an assignment, is delete the assignments part. Okay. But it might sound goofy, but I love these little icons at the beginning of each of these. If you look at it, that's the same icon that Canvas uses for discussions. That's the same icon that Canvas uses for assignments. That's the same icon Canvas uses for quizzes. I'm trying to build consistency here. It's called branding. Okay? Keep that brand the same and people get it. And now if they see that little icon, oh, this has something to do with a quiz. And they'll immediately know what that is. You don't have to ask. The other thing about it is, as I'm designing this, I'm putting everything into it that I'm going to possibly use so that when I'm done, it's that much less I have to worry about remembering later. Okay? Because I can guarantee when I'm working on one class, I can't remember all this. I can't imagine working on 5 classes and trying to remember what I did for every one, especially if I did something different. Okay, so build those things in. So how you build them in is by going here, and I'm going to do an Apple overview. I'm going to recreate that page. So here, the first thing I did, I want to choose a theme. So here on the right, and I want this Apple One theme. That was the first theme that I was using. All right. So I've just clicked on it, and now it automatically pulled this in, and notice it says template and then Apple Overview. That's coming from the page title. So what does that mean? That means that what DesignPlus is going to do is when you use the template and create pages, it will actually take whatever the page title is and put that in there for that first part. It's a really cool function of the template. Like unit 1, week 1, whatever that is. Exactly. Exactly. So now I want to add some content blocks. So what I did is I just went up to the top and I clicked on create edit content and then add rearrange content blocks. And it's showing me that I don't really have much. I have a title content block. Well, I'd like to have something in there that is just going to be blank. Okay, because I'm going to put some text in there. Then I can look back at the other one and go, oh, the next one I had was lectures. Now notice it's got things like objectives, readings, lectures. Oh, all right. Why don't I click on that and see what it's going to be? And notice to the right here, it's got my list, and on the left, it's got what it actually is creating in that page. Okay, so I had lectures. I then did resources. So here at the top, next to the green plus, I'm going to type in resources. All right. And then I did discussions, assignments, quizzes, and modules. So here, I don't have anything for discussions. I do have assignments, quizzes, and then modules. So notice at the bottom here, it says End Design Tools Wrapper. You can put stuff below that, but I recommend not. Design Tools Wrapper, that means everything you're doing in Design Tools. So if I went in and I changed the theme because I thought, oh, you know, I don't really like that apple, I want a different one. Everything that's within the wrapper will automatically change the theme. Everything outside the wrapper won't. So just basically work inside of it and everything will automatically update if you decide to make an update. One of the other neat things about design tools is if you take this is simply HTML. Okay, if you're familiar with HTML, you see that this is readable to you. If you're not familiar with HTML, this is not readable necessarily. But you can take this and put it into a shell that does not have design tools and it will still work. So if you teach at multiple schools, design it here, get everything the way you want it, and then you can take it to another school that doesn't use design tools and it'll still function.
This is like embedding the code.
So this is embedding a code, but in that case, literally you can copy your class. You don't have to do anything special. It will automatically work. So basically what I'm saying is we use certain tools in here. Like I showed you the Cranium Cafe, the Connex card. Okay, that has to do with us. Design tools will work because of how it functions in the background. You can take something designed here and put it someplace else without a problem. For anybody who is an adjunct, that is a really, really cool feature. I like the idea of the portability. So that's why I keep bringing that up. Now notice some of these have icons in front of them and some of them don't, like resources. Well, I'd like to put an icon in front. And if you look here on the right, you see that there's the resources, discussions, etc. I can click on the box in front of it. And in resources, I thought of a book. And so I picked something like this, an open book. And notice by clicking on it, it shows up here on the right, and it immediately showed up here on the left. Discussions, I can do the same thing. So I want to click on where I want to be here. Make sure that I'm working in the right area. And I can choose an open one or a closed one. Quizzes. Now notice they have a pencil there for assignments. I'll change that in a minute. because I do want to match canvases. But I can go in, and as I start typing, it shows up. And notice all of these are filled in. That's because that's the way I chose it to be. Blue, I see you've got your hand up.
Yes, as I'm doing it with you, I'm noticing, and these things bother me quite a bit. The lectures icon is significantly larger than others. How do we fix that?
So
Or in my case, it is. I'm using, what am I using? Basic bar?
okay, so you can click on it, click on the icon here under the add arrange content
Yeah.
blocks, and you can even choose something else. It might be a font thing that you need to change it to make your font bigger or something like that, but I'm guessing so what did I use for lecture? I used that same thing. I kind of thought the same thing. If you look at lectures versus discussions, for instance,
Oh, yeah.
on this one, they look different. So that you can go in and you can adjust font size. I would imagine that would fix that particular part. So here, if I click on it, so that's 25. Let's see.
Oh, this one is a heading
That's
on my
25.
end. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
So it's some of it is going to require playing around a little bit. And that is where I told you about the HTML.
Okay, I'm
So-
looking at the HTML now.
So that might help. So they were using a play button. In fact, let's see, does this one look better?
Oh, maybe I should
Yeah,
just
so there's a
close-
different play button.
Okay, got it.
And that pulled it right back down to a size that looked better.
Perfect,
Yeah,
thank you.
So sometimes it's playing with it. And this goes back to my first statement about it being a time suck, because you can really get into this a whole lot and realize that, oh man, this I want to make it look exactly perfect. And I agree with you. Sometimes it takes time to make that happen. Okay. So last one here, let me see if it's got anything for modules. And more of an IT type of thing. Since I'm an IT person at heart, I'll pick that. So what I've done is I've simply created a template. Now, I haven't done anything. So this is what the page would look like if I used it. So this is where we want to look at some enhanced tools. So in a way, I'm skipping ahead to more of what I wanted to cover later, but this is about building out your course the way you want it and what's going to look good. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into design tools, and I'm actually going to change this setting to be advanced. I suggest that you play with it, and just like anytime you do advanced, like me, hey, I want to go for advanced, and then I go, but I don't know how this setting works or something like that. Go back to basic, try it out, but basic doesn't have all of the advanced tools that you might want. So I'm going to go to advanced and close this. And you notice now I've got a lot more options here at the top. I'm not going to get into all of the options because frankly, we could do a 4-hour session just on those options. But there are some really cool elements that can be added. So you notice I just deleted the text of insert text here or whatever it was. If you click on add advanced elements, there's a lot of different things that you can put in place. So at the very top of my overview, I kind of like for there to be I want to show the module progression. What do I mean by that? I want to show the student what all is in the module and how far along they are when they're on this page. Okay? But I don't want to have to go in and change it every time. I want this to be automatic. So they've got a couple of really cool tools. One is just this bar, and it shows how far they are. Another one actually has icons for each of the different elements. And the last one here, I'm skipping one on purpose. The last one here has different icons, but check mark for if they've accomplished that or not. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that one. When I click on Insert at Cursor, you want to make absolutely sure your cursor is exactly where you want it to be, because it will insert where you have your cursor. All right. So Insert at Cursor. And notice it just put a blue line up. It doesn't tell me, because in a template, it's not in a module. It doesn't have any clue what this means yet. All right. I can now come down here and under lectures, I can put in information that I want. All right. But this might be where I want to put an accordion. So remember, this is a template for an overview for this particular module, this week, this chapter, this assignment, however you're breaking down your class. So if you wanted to do accordions, for instance, you can do, again, I always like to have a blank line when I get started. I can go in and I've got options for accordions as a block or at the cursor. And do I want, so I'm going to do at the cursor. And now it comes up and it gives me some information. So panel heading. And I can go ahead and add a panel. Now, on the left, it's going to look funky. So let's say you're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for your class, that you actually have 4 days. This could be topics. This could be whatever it is that makes sense. All right, so I have just created these panels. There's one more thing here at the bottom that I want to do. And I will save this in a moment and show you what all of this stuff looks like. Okay. At the bottom here, I would like to show the content of the module. What do I mean by that? So going back here to this module progress navigation, I'm going to go ahead and insert at the cursor a module item detail. All right, and save it. As I've saved this, it's come up.
Could you hold on for a second, please?
Yep.
Just a second. Yes, so what were we going to do with the module details? Progress with the progress?
So at the top, I did the module progress bar. I did one module progress bar at the top. Okay, and that one I did under this advanced elements and module progress navigation. I did, I believe it was this module item completion.
Yeah.
Okay, at the top. At the bottom, under modules, I use this module item details. And it says it here in really light, really small, which one I chose. Okay. So why would I do something like that? Well, let me show you what those two look like. So here is one. This is using one of the other module links. It doesn't have the checkbox saying that it's finished. But notice then under module, I have all of the different elements in that module. Okay. Now here's the beautiful part. I created this link at the bottom here, this list of items that's in this module, simply by putting in that tool, that element. If I add something or delete something from this module, it will automatically be added, deleted, published, whatever. Students would see only, in this case, they would only see the SA1 summer activities discussion. That's it. They would not see anything else in this module. So if I go to student view, oh, it's not available yet, which is why. Because this isn't even published yet. So if I publish this one and now go to student view, and which hasn't been unlocked. So student view, the problem with student view is that you can only see things that like a student could see it. Okay. So I'm backing off, but basically it shows you the different elements that I had in here exactly the way I had them, exactly the way I asked for them. And the reason I want to do that in a template is because I don't want to have to do this 16 times in my semester. I will make a mistake. I guarantee it. Okay. But doing it once, now it's set up the way I want it. Now I can go ahead and reuse it.
So that progress bar, that's for students to see, or do I see that as an instructor in grades, maybe, or what?
So the question is the progress bar. Do you see it as an instructor, see where the students are or something like that? Unfortunately, no, this is saying you in your role, whatever your role is, this thing that you're in is this far along in that. So it does not show you how far the students are, which is too bad. I would love to, I'd love to see if they can give us a hidden progress bar that would give us a list of all the students and how far are they in this module.
Yeah, but I would know as I grade that what we've done or not done. So this bar is for them.
So this bar is for them, yes. And so this is where having things in the module like assignments or something like that is useful, because then you can tell that they've gotten that far. This is in color, exactly. Exactly. So that said, one of the things that I can do, I'm just going to edit this page really quick, and I'll show you the progress bar that I had used in the other case. Notice it's right here. I'm just going to put another one underneath it because I used the template, but I'm not limited to the template. Okay. So here I'm going to create edit content, add, oops, not a navigation block. I'm sorry, add advanced element, module progress navigation. And I'm going to use this other one. All right. So if I save that, it just looks a little different. And so I wanted to show you what that looked like. So here it's got the different elements, but notice as in both cases, if I move my mouse over it, it'll actually tell me what that is. So this is really useful for the students. They can go to the overview page for that module, click on whatever it is, the next thing is that they want to work on. And it shows them how they're doing, what they're accomplishing and stuff. So I really like these advanced elements. As you can see, as we're looking at this, there are a lot of advanced elements. Okay. Module list, for instance. This is the one that I often get confused on, so I actually wind up never using it. This will give you a list of modules. You can put this in your homepage, for instance. It does not tell anything that's in the modules. It just gives them a list of modules. And the beautiful part about all of these elements, when you add something, you add a module, you add a page, you add whatever it is, if that, you don't have to add it to the element, it's automatically added. So if you want to have a list of all of the modules that's automatically updated, you can use this add and configure the module list. But that literally gives you class overview, week 1, week 2, week 3, whatever you've named your modules, it just gives you a list and they can click on it and go to that module. But that's all it is just that list. It doesn't dig in. And so that will actually have your modules load faster, by the way. Why do I say that? If you've got 200 elements that are in there, Canvas will load slowly. Okay. And an element can be an assignment, a page, a link, whatever that is. The more stuff you have, the slower Canvas will run. Tends to run pretty quickly when it's small, but it gets to be a lot. So this could be a way where you can just say, hey, click on week 5. They click on week 5 and they're in there. My preference is to click on week 5 and you go to the overview. And the overview handles all of that for you, and then you don't have to worry about what's in it. So there's some other real interesting things that you can do too. You can add different icons. If you are familiar with it, you can get into the custom CSS for this particular course. Okay, so that's under Add Advanced Elements and Custom CSS. All right. So there's a lot of different things in here. It's not in here. There's other places where you can add in some tools that will turn off the previous and next buttons at the bottom. There's just a lot of different components to this DesignPlus. The whole thing is called Design Tools, as you see it at the top, Design Tools. But there's a lot of different parts here. It's a really, really nice package. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And going back into the multi-tool, I've created a series of different templates. All right. I can click on each one. This one I haven't set up yet, so I'm going to go ahead and create edit content, choose a theme, and Apple 1. Add rearrange content blocks, add blocks. This is what I typically do. Oops, introduction text, there we go. And I can start putting in instructions. Now, if you have, for instance, a weekly discussion that you want students to do, put all of the instructions in here, because it's going to be the same instructions for every week. All right. And it's due on Wednesday, and then you have to reply to 2 students by Friday. Whatever those things are, rather than you have to recreate it, use a template and do it. And when you're done, you have exactly the same tools that we've been talking about. So for instance, in this case, what I might do is go back into Advanced Elements and the module progress. Let me close off this add blocks. And at the cursor where I want it, I'm going to insert that module item completion. Now, why would I put that in an assignment? Well, because the assignment's going to be a little later on in the module. So you can actually have this in every single element other than links that's in a module. So you can have it in your pages. You can have it in discussions. You can have it in quizzes, etc. at the very top. Now the student knows, oh, the quiz is the last thing in this module. And when I hit next, I'm going to go to the next module. Okay, and I'm going to go to an overview. So they can actually see what they have accomplished and that they've accomplished everything and completed it. So it's a really, really nice tool for that. And I really like using that tool in that way. You can also put in other elements. So for instance, what group do you want the assignments to go into? So I like to actually have my typical assignments go into assignments group. I want my discussions to go into a discussions group, quizzes into a quiz group, exams into an exam group. So you can create different templates for each of them and have it automatically do that. So now you don't have to go back through later and go, oh, wait, did I move that? Did I not move that? Whatever, it's just going to be automatic because we're going to have design tools actually create all of these elements. All right. Submission type. You can go in and you can specify an online submission type with text entry, media recordings, file uploads, restrict the file uploads. To whatever you want. All right. Whatever you want. You could put all of that stuff in, and this is creating a template so that when it does the next assignment, it can use those same elements, those same parts to it. So I like to get it as close as possible in my template and then save it. So now let's take a look at the multi-tool, the next part of the multi-tool. We've created all of these templates. But what have we done with them? Nothing yet. That's where the module builder comes in. So first of all, the module builder is really nice in that it allows you to see what's existing. So here I have a course overview module, and this is how it's laid out. I've already created it. Well, I probably want to leave that alone. So now I have a chapter 1 module. And here's what chapter 1 module looks like. Essay 1 module, etc. Now I can look at that and I can say, oh, wait, I actually don't want this module at all. And I can hit delete module. If I delete module, it will delete every part of this, including all of the assignments and everything else in here, as long as Canvas will let you do it. So if you're in an existing class and you delete something that has student submissions, Canvas won't let you delete it, so this won't delete it. If you accidentally delete something you don't want deleted, then there's an undelete that isn't part of design tools, but we can get it back. So delete module deletes the module, not the content. Delete module and contents actually deletes the contents of that module. So just be aware of that. At this point, you're setting up your next semester classes. This is great. This is why I said, you know, I created 100, I deleted 100. It wasn't that big a deal. Well, that's what I did. Delete everything. And it was gone. All right. So now let's go ahead and create some additional modules. So I'm going to call my module week, and I'm going to want to create, let's go with just 5 modules for now. Well, let's go with 8. It's an 8-week course. And I want to start with module number 1. So I've already created a course overview module. And now I'm just going to create the weekly modules. So literally, sometimes you'll go back into this multiple times for that reason. Nothing wrong with that. I don't want to generate module list. I want to put what's going to happen in each of those modules. So I'm going to want a page that's the overview page. So here I'm going to use the Apple overview page. And I'm going to call it overview. And then I want a header. And then I want another page, header, discussion, header, assignment, header, quiz. Now, why would I put all of these headers in? It's called organizing. I want to organize my module. All right. So here, I'm going to create a resources header. And then I'm going to have a page. And maybe I've got something called a video page that I'm going to use. Okay. And then I had discussions. And here I'm going to use the one called weekly discussion. And then assignments. And notice I'm just picking the assignments that I want to use. Okay. It allows me to change the submission type if I want. So basically, this is the organization that I want for my module. All right. I can generate a module list. And as I scroll down, this is what each module is going to look like. So maybe I want to name my modules now. All right. Would it be a week 1 topic? Welcome. All right. So what I can do is I can now copy this. So this is why this takes so long for me, because I like to name everything as much as I can. All I'm doing is copying and pasting, pasting this welcome in front of it. All right. And then I can do that for each of these. So like for me, when I'm doing things like this, I like to actually name, okay, so this is going to be about DesignPlus. This is going to be about quizzes. This is going to be about whatever it is. And so I actually try to give it names so that it's not just week 3 resources that if you were ever looking at the back end. So once I'm done, all we have to do is add modules to course. By the way, it does have an option for saving the progress. So you don't have to do this all at one time. And notice it says it's creating the assignments. It created discussions, created pages. The last thing it's going to do is add the items to the modules. It's already created the modules. So if I went into another tab, in modules here, these are the old modules that I had. Now you see the modules are already in place. So it's doing the work for me. Now it's adding all of the stuff to the modules. And you can literally pop over and watch it happen. It'll only take a minute, so I'll go ahead and just let it happen. If, by the way, you looked at pages, which we'll do in a moment, you'll actually see all of these overview pages got created. If you look at quizzes, you'll see all these quizzes got created. Everything just got created right here in this class. And it's kind of like waiting for water to boil. Never seems to when you're watching it. At least it gives you a percent. All right, so now it said it's done. And notice up here at the top, I can look at the different weeks. And here, this is the information. But if I go back here into the course modules, here's everything that I just told it to create. So if I look here at the welcome overview, or this week 1 overview, it's got the different elements that I just created and I said that I wanted. And here is the module, all the parts of the module that we had talked about. So basically spend the time and create a template for how you want it to look, what makes sense for you and stuff like that. So this module builder just built all these things. I can go in and I can change it. I can do anything I want. Oh, okay. In this case, I'm not going to use resources. I'm not going to use discussions. I'm not going to use something. That's fine. Okay. This Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday didn't work out the way I want it to. I can now edit it and make it look the way I really do want. Okay. So for instance, here, when we're talking about this element, advanced element, accordions and tabs, that added it as a block. I didn't say what kind I wanted. I actually want an accordion. There we go. And now if I save it, let's see if that works better. So here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I can click on that and it'll show me the Monday information. So I hadn't told it that it was an accordion. That was the accordion, yes. So the other part is a tab. And this, by the way, is why I keep going back and deleting the stuff and recreating it, is because, oh, it didn't work the way I wanted. So now I go back and recreate the template or something. Learn from my mistakes and play with it on one or something like that, rather than go back and forth. So if I want to instead go back here and make these tabs instead of accordion. By the way, there's also expander, which expands and contracts. So tabs instead. So now it's got Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, and Thursday. What's that? It's horizontal then. But basically, what do you want it to look like in your class? What makes sense? So for instance, maybe each week you've got 4 or 5 topics that you want to cover. Have each of the topics as a different tab. Because now the student can look at it and then go, oh, I don't remember what we talked about when it was designing this or whatever. They could just click on that tab and go into it. And it looks a whole lot better. It takes your course, the design of your course, and elevates it. So, Blue, yes.
So when you do this overview page and you organize your lectures in tabs like this, do you put your lectures in there? Then you wouldn't need a lectures page, would you?
Exactly. So that's, you and I were talking earlier about how I don't like to have lots and lots and lots of videos all pop up at the same time and it looks daunting. This gets away from that, but it allows you to still give it to them in the same way. So you could have by topic, here, these are the 2 videos about this, or this day's videos, whatever it is that makes sense. Yes, this is a great way of doing it. And it all loads in one page rather than it loading in 4 or 5 different pages in this case.
No, but let me see if I understand this. So this overview page, when we create this overview page and we place our content in here, then
Yes.
we're not going to need additional pages in the weekly module, do we? I mean,
You don't need them, but you can. That's where it depends on you, what you want. Okay.
what are the pros and cons of doing this?
I'm sorry, what was the
What are the pros and cons of
pros and
putting
cons?
all? Yeah.
So the biggest con is that the more, just like in any web page, the heavier the page, the more images, the more graphics, the more everything that you put in, the slower it's going to be to load. Okay. Also, you want to be careful about double embedding. So like under Monday, you might not want to embed another set of tabs, and one be lectures and one be, you know, videos and one be assignments or something like that. You don't want to embed and embed and embed. So just be careful about that. In general, I love this idea. Okay. The only thing I'm concerned about is slowness of opening that page. And that's simply a function of how much stuff do you have. If you've got a lot of tools, it's going to be slow. On the other hand, if it's a series of links, it's a couple of images, it's text that you put in, because text will load very quickly, then this is a great way to get through it. And then no, you don't need additional pages.
Okay, so say that I'm organizing my structure as like lectures and then deliverables. Under deliverables, I have assignments and discussions, right? And potentially I can then place my discussions and assignments here on the same page.
Right, so here I've got discussions, and this is where I would have it, the name of the discussion, and then link directly to the discussion.
Got it.
Okay, an assignment. And then the beautiful part is, so this is week 1. What are the chances you're going to have a quiz week 1? You might, but often not. So what you can do is here under the create edit content, it says add rearrange content blocks. You can actually go down and hit an X on the quiz. And now I save it. And now it does not have, it's got assignments and then modules. Does not have a quiz. Or maybe some weeks you've got a discussion every week, but sometimes you have an assignment, sometimes you don't. That, because I added it into the template, all I have to do is delete what I don't want. I don't have to go back in and remember. Does that make sense?
For that week.
For that week, but it's still there for the next week. Yep. All I'm doing is working now with the week itself, that module, that chapter, whatever that is I'm looking at. Does that make sense? Excellent. So that is, believe it or not, that's an overview of this tool called the multi-tool. All right. It does have a due date modifier that's built in, and you can delay announcements through this as well. I'm not going to get into those. Personally, I like another package we've got called Adjust All for doing that, but this has it as well. Adjust All allows you to adjust all the dates in your class in one page. And this does too. I just like the other way better. So, okay. Any questions about the multi-tool or creating a template? By the way, you will have questions once you get in and do it. Okay, so don't. Earlier we talked about dumb questions and not dumb questions. Any questions that you have about this is not a dumb question. It's a good question. And it's because I've shown you from my perspective, and through training I've been through seeing other people do it, and through lots of trial and error. Okay. So hopefully you can learn from that, but you're going to have to do some of your own trial and error. You're going to have to see things and does this work? Does this not work? And stuff like that. So definitely keep that in mind. Ask questions, email. Doesn't bother me at all to copy and paste something else in, to send you a video, to answer questions, to hop on Zoom with you. Okay. We will make it work, and we'll make sure that you get the answers to the questions that you've got. So
This is how we do our syllabus now. And I'll set this all up in design.
DesignPlus.
Yeah, and then it's all highlighted in yellow.
So-
and so we just go in and just fill in the few dates, but I don't have to recreate it.
So you can, with DesignPlus, there's a lot of cool things that you can do for syllabus. There's a whole syllabus builder that's built into it as well. I haven't gotten into that because there's a lot of people not using that. And until you understand some of this, the other, if you have to create it, the other's a lot of work. Once you get this, then it makes a lot more sense. So I am looking right now. I want to make sure I get the right one. No. Okay. So this is a page that was set up not using DesignPlus. So why would I want to do that? Because unless this is a brand new class to you, you likely already have content that you want to use. And as nice as what I showed you was, it feels useless when, okay, but how do I put it in my existing class? So I needed to show you the other, because if you don't understand how the templates work, then this wouldn't make as much sense. But now that we've done that, I'm going to leave this in advanced, but I want to go ahead and start putting in the same elements into this particular page. Now, remember when we were talking, I told you there was a gray bar at the bottom of the screen that said the end of the design tools group. All right, folder, module, whatever that was. All right, so I can go ahead and take this page, and I can go ahead and the wrapper, here we go, and design tools wrapper. I can go ahead and add a wrapper, add design tools to an existing page. So these are elements that you're going to add in. So it's not as easy as just simply copying the template in, although you could literally go in, select, do a Control A or Command A, copy all of the text from the template and pop it in here, all of the HTML basically. That would work too. But when you do that, then you have this other part, and notice this other content is below the wrapper. So I might want to put that someplace. And remember, we had this add rearrange content blocks. I want to add a block, and now I can go ahead and put introduction text. I'm going to make this bigger again so that we see what I'm doing. To put in there. I'm just clicking right now to add these components in. But now I want to actually pull in this information. So I can go ahead and maybe call this the instructor contact. Notice it put it above where I want it, or the content that I want, but this is where myself, I always try to put a blank line before and after all content, because then as I'm working, I can grab from blank line to blank line and it makes sure I get everything in between. Sometimes that doesn't, sometimes if you just click on something, it doesn't move the way I want it to. So I created blank line here. I'm going to scroll down all the way to the end of this example teacher thing here. Okay, because I want to have it all highlighted. Let me force the blank line at the end. So I want all of this selected. And what I want is selection to block. So when I click on this, it now moved that up underneath the instructor contact. I can now simply delete a little bit here. And now when I open that up and I save it, I have just moved that up under instructor contact. And this is still below what I had before. I can delete it, I can whatever. So basically what I'm showing is you can actually bring in and create these contact blocks, these content blocks with the information that you've already got. So if you already have it structured the way you want it and the way you're going to do it in a template, great, you could just bring in everything all at once. If, however, you didn't have it organized the way you're going to want to have it organized every time, you can pick whichever content block you want and pull it in at the end of each one that you want it to be. And notice, as I'm doing that, going back to the element here with the add rearrange, I can move these around. So what did I just do? I just moved it so the instructor contact information is at the top, and this other is the lectures is down below. So you have the ability, simply dragging and dropping, to put things exactly the way you want, even in what your class currently has. So you can pull in everything in blocks and then rearrange the blocks the way you want by just simply dragging and dropping. I know this feels like I made it really simple. Okay? That's because it really is. I wanted to go over this after the other because now you understand what these blocks are about. The image is in front of the block. Okay. The different components that we've created here. So you can create this in your existing class. You can use it in your existing class. There is another element here that you need to be careful about. My suggestion is to always work on a copy of your page until you're familiar with exactly how it's going to work. Okay? But there is this create, edit content, and then copy existing content. And this is where you can copy in a template or another page of any kind. Another assignment, etc. Whatever you're doing, you're copying it in from the same type. And it will copy in the main rich content editor portion. It'll copy it in. The problem is, I believe that it wipes out whatever's already in the page. So just be careful with that.
So if I want to design this in my sandbox,
Mhm.
I can copy it over into my class.
Correct. So one place to use this that's very effective is your sandbox. And that's the question that just came up. Could you do this in a sandbox? Absolutely. That's the best place to do this. Just like I said, understand this literally says to replace the content currently displayed in the rich content editor. So do be aware that if you copy, it literally overwrites the HTML. So you do lose that information. It doesn't show it up at, just push it down or something like that. Blue.
Yes, I was looking at the module progress. I used basic progress bar, and
Okay.
it came with a dark blue background with black text. So it's invisible. The text is invisible.
When you looked at it after you saved it?
Yeah, after I saved it, it's the text on it that says week 1. It's set in black, and I've tried changing it to white. There's no way. I mean, I'm sure there is a way, but I couldn't figure it out yet.
Not a problem. So let me see something really quick. You're talking about a bar at the top, kind of like that.
Yeah, but I selected the basic one.
Basic one? All right.
Yeah.
There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to this.
Yeah, the very first one on there. Yeah, that's the one.
And that's one of the things I like about it is you can play. You can add different ones. So here it did not do the on white for you, correct?
Yeah, I didn't get the white one.
Interesting. That's always the hard part, is trying to figure out why you get something different than I do in a situation like that.
Well, I could try and take a look at the HTML and see if I can fix it.
So as I'm looking at it, there's really no HTML. This advanced element, it doesn't have
I do see it.
colors in it.
I do see it, but my CSS is turned on. Maybe that's why. I
Try
do
turning
see the background color, but I don't see the color for the text.
So there are parts of DesignPlus that will not transfer very well to other schools. And this is the type of thing, because there's a background background JavaScript and CSS that is involved in some of that. So some of these advanced elements won't transfer as nicely, but the rest of it will. I am not seeing, for the module progress bar, I'm not seeing any separate.
Hey, can I share my screen with you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just a moment. Let me stop sharing. Go ahead.
Oh goodness, where is she? Oh, there we go. Okay. Right there. So this is the part where I see
Oh,
the
yep.
progress bar, but you know, the background color is there, but there's no color for the text.
So it's using a default color for the text.
Yeah.
Can you go ahead and switch out of, yeah, switch out. Do me a favor and just pop
Oh,
in
goodness.
a template.
I didn't have this white bar before. Let me just refresh. Oh, I didn't save it. Hold on. Oh yeah, this is how it looks.
Yeah. I would try to do it. Can you make a copy of this page? Yeah, copy it. Oh, not copy to, cancel.
Oh, okay. Cancel.
If you go back and click view all pages, actually, it's better to do it in pages
Oh, is it? Okay.
on the left, down about 5th from the bottom, 4th from the bottom. There you go. And I think it was week 1 that you were working on.
Yeah.
So view all pages first at the top. And don't click on it. Go all the way to the right. Click on the dots on the right and duplicate. Okay. So yeah, now click on it. Only because I don't want to mess up yours that was existing. So this is what I was talking about before, where do all the playing in a copy.
Okay.
All right. So now can you go to edit? Launch tools at the top. And no, I want you to first do the create edit content. There you go. And choose a theme. And I don't care which theme you choose. Doesn't matter. All right. So now go up to add rearrange content blocks. Add a block. And select that where it says module progress on the left.
This
Yes.
one?
In the rich content editor. Above that, you want to include the other part if possible.
Oh, this.
Actually, just a second. Select below it. Select all the stuff below that bar. Yes,
Okay.
from there down. Okay. And now click on selection to block at the bottom. All right. Now go ahead and hit the X and save it. I'm just curious if it makes a difference if it's within. Okay, now scroll down.
Well, this is not in the.
It's not in a module yet. So
Yeah.
can you go ahead and put it?
Yeah.
Plus.
It keeps jumping on me like this.
I
told you
understand.
before. Yeah.
So this, yes, a page. There you go. And it's automatically going to add to the bottom of that week 2.
Oh,
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, it's still
Right,
in.
but just a second. That was below the DesignPlus, the design tools. So go ahead and
Yeah.
edit it. Okay, put your mouse at the top in front of do you have? Okay, and hit enter. Can you hit it? There you go. Now mouse up. There you go. Now let's add that basic one in here. I'm just curious about something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, now save it.
Aha. So I needed
So
to
it has
have
something to do with it
theme.
being within the wrapper.
Got it.
And this is the first time I've tried it outside the wrapper. So, thank you.
Right. Right. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So now you see what the different ones look like just in your course.
Yeah.
And whenever using DesignPlus, it is best to use that wrapper
Okay.
to create that. It does make a big difference in that way, obviously. So. All right, so that said, what other questions do we have? I've talked for an hour and 40 minutes, give or take, hour and 35 minutes. So talk to me, what questions? I know a couple have come up, but any elements that you have questions about? I don't know all of the elements that they've got. There's a lot of different things that are available. But
Launching tool icon is not coming up on this computer, maybe because it's not updated. So I put in multi-tool, but where is it?
you're in multi-tool right now.
Oh, where's that box?
Oh, so the question is, when you're in multi-tool, how do we get to the design tools? And that's anytime you're in a page, anytime you're in the rich content editor, you have access to it. So in multi-tool, that's where we were talking about at the top, the template builder, where we created the templates, homepage or something like that. Or when we clicked on the templates to edit them, that's when it came up on the right-hand side. So it only shows up when you're in the editor itself. So there is a setting, in fact, to turn off the automatically launching of the tool if you want, so it won't pop up for you each time. There's a lot of different settings in here. Feel free to go through and look at them. If you mess something up, I can go in and fix stuff too, so don't worry about that. But there's a lot of different levels. There's a whole lot to this. There's the company is I mean, you can look up design tools or DesignPlus, but the company that created it has really done a nice job of also documenting this. And then we've got a number of different videos and stuff like that that I've created with regard to this that I'm uploading to YouTube now. So yeah. All right, what other questions? What do we have?